Good evening, YouTube. Today I'm bringing you a battle against Smogon user Ace Trainer Red. Now, I was really pleased to see the team that he was using because I pretty much was doing some studying, and Gliscor, Infernape, Espeon, those are three Pokemon that this team is really weak against. And, since I'm mainly running physical attackers, Gliscor can pretty much wall just about everything, and if it's the Toxic Stall set, it really doesn't care about being intimidated. And Infernape just hits hard in general, so does Breloom, Salamence, so I was really pleased to see, some of this team's greatest counters all on one team. And now I was thinking that his Infernape was probably Scarfed, or Salamence could be Scarfed, but I don't believe in the one Scarf rule anymore, so people could run 2, 3, 4 Scarfs, and pretty sure his Heatran's the special tank since he's going to be needing one. Salamence could be Dragon Dance, but I haven't seen one of those in a long time aside from the one I use. And Breloom's pretty versatile, could be, Poison Heal, Tactician, and his Espeon probably just the standard Smogon set of Light Screen and Reflect. So he's already going to be able to block Deoxys' entry hazard, so I'm actually not really worried about that because his team isn't really weak versus entry hazards, and I'm not going to take the chance of allowing him to use my hazards to his advantage. So I felt pretty good about facing this team because I understand how this Intimidate team works, and since I believe that he was either going to begin with Espeon or Infernape, I'm actually just going to go ahead and begin with Reach for Star, who was Scarfed with U-turn, so if Espeon did come in, it would have been severely damaged if it didn't switch. So he's going to switch out his Infernape, which indicates that it's not Scarfed. It's either Life Orbed or Choice Banded, or it could be a substitute set, and I'm just going to send in Lavo Spawn to bluff taunting the Gliscor. Knowing that his Espeon's going to come in to prevent my entry hazards, I'm going to send in my Scarfed Landorus, and as you can see here, he does send in his Espeon. Espeon switches are extremely predictable, that's why I don't really use it. And he's going to bring in his Gliscor once again, and I'm just going to U-turn to get the switch advantage. Here I send in Forest Law, because Forest Law has the Ice Punch, which will be a 2-hit KO, even with no attack investment, so he's going to withdraw his Gliscor, and I go for the Ice Punch anyway. I actually want him to know that I have Ice Punch, and you'll see why later on. Here I'm just going to go back into Kitty Claws, kind of just see what he's running, and he goes for the U-turn, and by the damage that did with the Intimidate, I'm pretty sure that it's banded now, so he sends in his Salamence. I know I can take an Outrage from a Scarfed Salamence, and I'm just going to go for the Stone Edge, and easily take out this Salamence. So yeah, Scarf Salamence pretty much crippled Kitty Claws, but it's okay, it was worth it since Salamence was a major threat, and I'm just going to go ahead and Stone Edge the Breloom, not wanting to switch, just using Kitty Claws as Death Fodder. So he's going to Mach Punch and take some Life Orb damage, so I know that it's now a Tactician Breloom, so I'm going to send an Argival to get off an Intimidate and scare it out with the Flamethrower or Fire Blast attack. So he switches into his Gliscor, expecting, I guess, the Outrage, and I'm just going to go for the Fire Blast, which probably did about the same amount of damage Outrage would have done, so I'm just going to switch in Fluttershy, who is a bold nature Blissey, who can actually outstall Gliscor in the long run, and here once again his Espeon switch was predictable, so I'm just going to go for the Seismic Toss, and he sets up a Reflect, which I don't really care about right now. I'm just going to go for a second Seismic Toss as he goes for the Baton Pass, which is interesting on Espeon, and he's going to bring in his Infernape, and I'm just going to go ahead and Seismic Toss it for, every little bit of damage I can get on it, since it's a major threat to this team actually. And here after the Intimidate, the Flare Blitz still almost is a one-hit KO to the Staraptor, so I definitely know that this Infernape is choice banned. Like after the Intimidate, it pretty much still did full throttle attack, and I'm just going to go for the Brave Bird, and here's an example of why you shouldn't over-predict if you already have a good counter. He sends in his Breloom thinking my Blissey's coming in, and his Breloom gets Brave Bird to the dome, so yeah, he should have just kept that Gliscor, and he had no reason to switch out. Brave Bird would have done nothing, he knew I was Scarfed, but oh well. I'm going to send an Argival now, and get an Intimidate off his Heatran, which is pretty useless. I predict him to switch out into his Gliscor because most Salamence have Earthquake, but he was actually just going to Death Fodder his Heatran, thinking that I was Choice Scarf so he could send in his Gliscor and get it for free substitute. I guess that was a decent play. I would have just sent in Gliscor since, the Salamence can't do anything, but it let him get up Stealth Rock, so I guess it's okay. Here I'm just going to go for the Seismic Toss as Blissey gets Lava Pumed and burned, which doesn't really matter because I'd actually rather be burned than Toxic by this Gliscor, and I have Wish, and this Blissey can actually Seismic Toss stall Gliscor. I've run some one-on-one calculations, and Blissey normally wins. And I'm just going to send in Forest Law, seeing what he wants to do, and also getting off an Intimidate, and he's just going to go for the Toxic, which is fine because Blissey has Heal Bell, so later on she can possibly heal off this Toxic damage with no problem. And here he's going to go for the Substitute. I predicted him to send in his Infernape. I was going to Drain Punch and take it out, but I overpredicted, so it cost me, let his Gliscor get some momentum on me, which wasn't really too serious, in my opinion. I'm just going to call Forest Law back and send in Fluttershy. Thanks to the Intimidate from Forest Law, even if this thing Earthquakes, Fluttershy won't be taking a lot of damage. Like as you can see here, this Gliscor goes for the Earthquake, and it only does like 142 damage, nothing. Can easily Wish Seismic Stall this thing, and he goes for the Toxic, which in my opinion, I guess it's pretty decent. I would have just started Earthquaking, knowing that Blissey has Natural Cure and etc. But I guess Toxic is still a pretty good play. So his sub breaks. Blissey got back to max health. Gliscor got back to max health as well. Here I know that he's either going to Earthquake, switch out, or go for a Substitute, so I'm just going to Heal Bell to heal Forest Law's Toxic, which was actually pretty major, as you'll see towards the end of the battle. And now I'm going to call Fluttershy out and send Forest Law back in, just to see what he does, and to get another Intimidate off, making its attack weaker and weaker. He goes for the Toxic, but Forest Law has that martial arts, so he dodged it like a boss, and he's going to send in his Infernape, predicting the Ice Punch. And it's actually okay. I went for the Ice Punch because even if it does survive, I can send in Deoxys, who has Rocky Helmet, and even though he goes for the Flare Blitz and one-hit KOs my Lavos spawn, Rocky Helmet will also take him out, so Choice Band Infernape really does hit hard. That, destroyed Lavos, just instantly, but it's okay now, because here he's going to send in his Gliscor, and I'm going to send in Forest Law. And switching out after the Intimidate was the biggest mistake that he made, because now it's good game. My Forest Law has Bulk Up, and it's able to Crunch Espeon, Ice Punch Gliscor, and Drain Punch the Heatran, so after I get my third Bulk Up, Ace Trainer Red got really upset, and he ends up forfeiting, so good game Ace Trainer Red. This is UnhappyCarousel, signing out, so please comment, rate, subscribe, and have a nice day.